Okay.
So Marcel, I mean, you've been fighting for a couple of years ago. Why don't you tell us about how you discovered Muay Thai and fighting and how you got into it?
Okay. Well, I was at the time I'd been traveling the UK for like 2.5 years. And towards the end of the experience, I think like last year, I bumped into a guy who claimed to be doing this thing called Muay Thai. I had no idea what the martial arts was. All I knew was these guys claimed to be kicking people with their shins and stuff. And like to me, as an ex-skateboarder, that just sounded crazy, you know. Shins really hurt every time I bumped him against anything. So, long story short, I ended up going off to the gym to go check it out. He invited me over one evening, and I just fell in love with it, man. It made so much sense to me, and I've done a bit of martial arts training before that. I've done a bit of judo, a bit of kung fu. My mom taught me how to box, so I've done a bit of street fighting, you know. But Muay Thai was like an evil genius, you know. It was like this amazing epiphany because like using your elbows and knees and stuff, that to me was just mind blowing. It was pretty cool. So that's how I got started. I got started in England at a gym called Wild Kicks in Southwest. And then when I left England, I wanted to continue training. So I found a gym in Cape Town called Dragon Power. Trained there for a little while, left Dragon Power, and then tried out a few other gyms, Rays, and then finally Phoenix Muay Thai, which became my proper gym. You know, that's where I think I learned the most, and I had the most fun. And then through Phoenix, I got a sponsorship to some fight for Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand, in Phuket, Thailand. And I've been fighting for Tiger ever since.
Awesome, man. Little backstory I didn't get there that I didn't know about you was that your mom taught you boxing. Little elaboration on that?
Yeah, I kind of look like all the other colours in Cape Town to a degree, but I've never sounded like one. We moved to Cape Town when I was like six and a half. So, and my family's really, really mixed. I think I've got something like 4 or 5 different nationalities in myself alone. So I've got family members from almost every country in the world. So my accent was really, really messed up. And when I first rocked up to Cape Town, a lot of the colour kids thought I was trying to put it on or something. Or what they used to say to me was I was trying to keep myself white. You know what I mean? I was trying to be better than them because I could, pronunciate things and roll my R's and stuff. So. Essentially, I'd rock up to school in the morning. I'd say, "Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing?" And I'd get a punch in the face because I was trying to be better than everyone. So yeah, like they didn't like me very much initially. So I got bullied a little bit because of my accent. And then the one day it just got hectic. And then I just I went home and I was really upset. And my mom sat me down and asked me what was wrong. And this was like I was at breaking point. So I actually just like told her everything, and I was like, "Listen, these kids are beating me up all the time because they say my accent's funny or whatever and shit." So she was like, she got really fired up actually. She started telling me how I should never back down to anyone ever, and I had to learn to fight them back. She told me if I fought back, they'd stop attacking me. So she took me to the front yard, and then that's it. She started teaching me how to box. She told me how to hold my hands up, how to throw punches, how to block,
Yeah.
She taught me a lot about movement and stuff. And then, then I went to school the next day, tried it out, and hey, it worked, man. It actually worked pretty good. And then after that, all I wanted to do was practice. So I seemed to be doing a lot of fighting from that point on. And then I realized that I was actually pretty good at it, And then it went from defending myself to defending anyone who had a problem. You know what I mean?
That's really
so
nice.
I could try move whatever. Like if a friend was in trouble or something, I'd run over. I'm like, yeah, leave him alone, fight me, kind of thing,
Yeah.
And then I was always a big fan of martial arts, but was never very fortunate in the fact that like I was never very close to any gyms or anything. So for the majority of my youth, I didn't have any opportunities. I tried judo for a while, didn't really like it. It wasn't the Jet Li kind of stuff I was looking for. I tried karate also, it just didn't feel right to me. Did Shaolin Kung Fu for about 2 3 years. And then kind of just like, put it all in the back of my head until, the one day I bumped into a guy talking about Muay Thai, and that's when the fighting world essentially really opened up to me.
Where did the name Baby Sumo come from? Am I saying it right?
A cousin of mine back in South Africa, my beautiful cousin Sarah, it was what she said the very, very first time she ever saw me in my full Muay Thai get-up, Moncom shorts, ankle wraps, the job lot.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She said I look like a baby sumo. And we all thought it was hilarious, very innocent, very cute kind of thing. Because she'd never ever seen a Muay Thai fighter before, so she was like, yeah, I look like a baby sumo to her. So we thought it was very cute, and it kind of suits my personality a bit. I don't like to take myself too seriously. You'll see sometimes, in the ring I'm playing around a lot and that kind of stuff. And I think that's important for me, just not to take yourself too seriously. So I thought it was a funny name, and it's got a cool meaning to me because because of the perspective, the view that my cousin had around it.
Yeah.
And it's just because don't take yourself too seriously. A lot of guys walk around with this big attitude, fighters. It's like, come on, guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
awesome. As you said, you're in Thailand now training at Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket. So that's obviously organized through Phoenix, and you said a sponsorship. What's it like living in Thailand, training day to day, pretty much every day? You've been fighting, it seems like at least once a week now. It's such a lifestyle change. How's that been?
It's massive, man. At first, obviously, when you first drive up, you're all super excited, but you're also really nervous because you're like, okay, shit, can I actually do this? A lot of people back home tell me that I shouldn't even bother coming to Thailand because, the Thais are genetically different and all this bullshit. The bone structure is different. They've been fighting since they were 5, so Falang, us foreigners, we wouldn't stand a chance and all that kind of nonsense. So at first, I was really nervous, but also really excited because I wanted to just train. And the training here is really hard, man. It's really, really hard. Not just the training, it's the conditions. You got to get used to the heat. Running in the heat and performing in the heat. I think the first time I did pads at Tiger, I thought I was literally going to die. It was too much, But it's a completely different attitude. The whole country is kind of geared towards Muay Thai. Everyone here loves it. It's a big thing. The trainers take it very seriously as well. So it's really, 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 really different. Also, your heart makes a big difference here in Thailand as well. Because one of the worst things a trainer could ever say about you, have a small heart or bad heart, as far as fighting is concerned.
Yeah.
And once someone says that about you, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? That sends you over. You're not going to get good opportunities. Guys, they're not going to back you and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You need to prove yourself to your trainers because they're going to attach their name to you. And it's all taken very seriously in Thailand. So if you slip up, it's a direct reflection on your trainers. So some trainers could actually even dump you. You know what I mean? If you fuck around too much, kind of thing. So very, very strict. You got to train twice a day. I've never done so much running in my entire life. It's really, really hectic. It's cool because obviously I'm living the complete lifestyle now. I wake up, I go to the gym, I eat and sleep, and then go back to the gym again. And it's just that's my every single day. You can fight once a week if you want. I fought a couple times in 1 week before. I'm trying to push that record now. I'm gonna try and fight at least 2 to 3 times in 1 week, see if I can push it. But it depends on how it goes. Because at this level as well, sometimes with your conditioning physically, you can take a lot of damage. Sometimes I find that I come out of fights with very, very little damage. So you rest for a couple days, you train for a couple more days, and you can get straight back into the ring. Yeah, but mostly I think it's the heat. That's the big thing. It's the condensation as well. It makes it really hard to breathe.
Yeah.
But I find if you can train hard and when your body gets used to it, you've never felt stronger.
Okay. Awesome. In terms of the style, because a lot of, especially foreigners in the Western countries, they don't really understand the scoring system. Have you found adjusting to how they judge fights difficult? Or
especially with my style. Obviously being a typical Westerner, I lean on my hands a lot. A lot of the boxing got a lot to do with my success in Muay Thai. Also, I mean, you can tell by the way I move. You know, I'm not a very I get called unorthodox a lot because of my movement. Yeah. So yeah, initially it was really hard because, like I said, I lean on my hands a lot, and here in Thailand, hands really just don't score for anything. Not unless you're really hurting the guy, you know. Yeah. Unless you really hurt him and it's visible, or if you actually KO him, you know, you're not going to win the fight. So that can be a bit frustrating. My last fight now recently, my trainers reckoned from round 3 onwards that I wasn't going to be winning the fight because he was just more skilled opponent. You know, he was more technical. I wasn't catching his timing properly. He was a southpaw that gave me a lot of trouble as well. But they told me to start punching, you know, in the hopes that I could hurt him and then possibly knock him out. But he was way too experienced for that. And then because, you know, we chose that strategy, I trailed behind on the scorecard. It was still a really close fight, but yeah, you know, at the end of the day, punch versus a kick's going to win every time on the scorecard. So it can be a little bit frustrating, but yeah, you know, you kind of get into it. Like, you start, when you're fighting, you kind of become more aware of, like, you know, okay, cool, I've done enough of this, I should start doing some of this now to, you know what I mean, to even it up, the scorecards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even saying that, man, you know, I watch a hell of a lot of fights, you know, all the time. You know, when I'm not fighting, I'm at the stadium watching someone else fight, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's always on TV here. It's like I think it's 2 channels here in Thailand that are dedicated to Muay Thai and stuff. So, I watch a lot of fights, and every now and then, I still, you know, I'll be like, yeah, okay, cool, I think one guy won, and then for some reason the other guy's hand goes up, you know.
Yeah. So
it can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but mostly the aggressor, you know, you want to be the aggressor, you want to keep pushing, and kicks, man, kicks and knees are your big ones there. Elbows are pretty good as well, and nothing beats the clinch game. If you can dominate someone in the clinch, or if you can sweep them, dump them, trip them, so your points are just going to escalate, you know, they skyrocket.
I've experienced a lot of that where I don't get why the other guy won at World Champs, so I completely understand where you're coming from with that.
It can be really frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing you can do. Once the judge calls it, that's it, you know what I mean?
Cool. What's your current record at the moment?
At the moment I'm 14 fights for Tiger, 10 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses.
Okay, and how many by KO? Because I remember you having some heavy hands.
I've got 9 wins by KO.
Nice, good. That's a very high percentage.
9 wins by KO, 1 by decision, and then the other rest, 1 was a draw against the Malaysian champion, and then
I remember that.
3 decision losses.
Okay, and then in terms of titles, I remember you won the AMCO title. I'm not even sure what that is. If you'd like to explain, it would be awesome.
It's a AMCO title. It's a local Phuket stadium title thing. It's at a stadium called Bangla Stadium. Okay. So it's basically just the stadium belt that I won.
Cool. Is that the only belt you have, or what else?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying. I've fought for 3 belts now. That's the one that I've won. I fought against the Malaysian champion last year. Fought him to a decision. Then that was for his title. I had a rematch with him now recently, but they didn't give me another title shot because they said that we were outside of KL, which is where we fought the first time. Yeah. So it was just a whole lot of bullshit excuses and stuff. They made us fight out in some small village town in the middle of nowhere, and they didn't even arrange for judges. So they said because there were no judges, they were going to make it a KO rule. So if you didn't KO the guy, then it's an immediate draw, which is really frustrating because it was kind of my revenge fight, you know. Yeah. But I feel quite satisfied with the result. I mean, I think I put up a good performance. I feel like I got my revenge. I beat him up quite good. He's a really good fighter. So you know, the knockout thing was always not really a solid kind of thing. You know what I mean? I didn't reckon I'd be able to do it. Also because in Malaysia the rules are different as far as Muay Thai is concerned. Like they don't like us to clinch, especially if they know you come from Thailand. They don't really let you clinch. You know, the second you get into the clinch, the judge will break you up. You know, the same, the gloves you fight with in Malaysia are the same kind of gloves we spar with in Thailand. Do you understand? Yeah. in the Thai stadiums here, you can fight with 8 ounces to as low as 6-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? Sometimes I fought really old gloves, and you could swear they're no more than 4 ounces. You know what I mean? So when you punch each other, you really feel it. But in Malaysia, it's a different story. It's like being hit with 12, 13-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? So especially for me as a boxer, it annoys me.
Yeah.
Other than that, I fought for the AITMA world title at in Ayutthaya for AITMA world champs. Made it to the final to that, and then lost in the decision against a strong Thai fighter from Bangkok.
Okay.
Those guys are always tough. No matter what you do, they're built like steel.
Yeah.
Fought for and very annoyingly, I fought for 3 titles and only got 1 so far.
Still having 30% in title shots is pretty good in my books.
Thanks, buddy.
Pleasure.
I'll get him now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you keep working, in my experience, it comes eventually. It'll come. Next question. In terms of the South African level of Muay Thai, do you think it's up there? Do you think it's way below, as some people say? If so, what do you think we need to do as a country to get to a high level? I don't expect us to jump to Thai level, but at least on the same level as the Russian countries and Europe and so forth.
See, this is the thing. I think that if anything, South Africa just needs to work on its clinching. Because that was also one of my big concerns when I first came to Thailand, was like, oh shit, these guys are going to murder me in the clinch. So I put a lot of work into working that. But luckily, like I said, I was with Phoenix before I left, and Don Mabes is an amazing coach. And if the stuff he taught me in clinching, I was able to apply when I first got there,
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But I think South Africa, is gonna be one of those surprising countries as far as Muay Thai in the world's concerned. Because this is the thing. Initially I wanted to come here and prove to the world that South Africa can fight too and that kind of stuff. But surprisingly, I've had a lot of success, and I haven't been the only South African to do it.
Yeah.
We've got Neto Borman. Neto's here now as well, and he's tearing it up. We've got another South African guy called Gareth. He's from East London. Also. So there seems to be a joke around Tiger Muay Thai at the moment that South Africans all hit hard, because all 3 of us are knocking guys out. And we're doing pretty good, so I think it's actually a really good showing for South Africa. Even the guys in the stadiums now, and guys in Malaysia, and even in Bangkok, they're all starting to talk about us now. And they're saying they're all starting to pay attention to South Africa, so I think it's a good showing for our country. I think as far as stand-up is concerned, South Africa is very strong, right? As far as punching and kicking is concerned, I think we're at a higher level than we think we are. It's just that I think the big difference between South Africa is obviously the lack of pro fights, Muay Thai wise. So we're going to be a little bit behind when it comes to using our elbows and knees and things. Also, like I said, the clinch needs a bit of polish. But other than that, I think South Africa is not too far behind there. I think with a little bit of polishing, we could be one of the big fighting countries.
That's awesome to hear. Okay, you mentioned Neto's there with you. Obviously, Don used to train there, and I'm sure you'll go back at some point. Are there any other South Africans? You mentioned a guy named Gareth, or Africans as a whole that you know of that we should keep an eye out for as fight fans?
Yeah, Gareth, I can't. His surname is not coming to my mind at the moment. But you should be able to see him on the Tiger channel.
Okay.
His name's Gareth. He's a South African guy also. He's really, really good. Really strong technique. Also, his boxing is amazing. But other than that, there are not too many other African guys that I'm aware of in Phuket. There's a guy called Umar.
Yeah, I've
who
seen
fights
him.
Lion. I think he's from Ghana or somewhere.
He's from Uganda. He got KO'd. No, not KO. He lost some points to Andre Kulibin recently.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He's
awesome.
awesome.
A really good fighter. Really strong.
So no one. Okay. I mean, even MMA, like anyone you would say like this guy's cool. I like watching him.
Ooh, I don't watch too much of the old MMA, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that too much.
Awesome.
Not too much on the MMA side. I try to avoid it as much as possible. I get harassed by a lot of MMA guys that come to our Muay Thai sessions, want to improve their stand up and stuff. I'm like, I just, yeah. It's just more, inmates is not my thing. It just really isn't my thing.
Yeah, fair, man.
And my is fully and solely on stand-up.
Okay, where to next for you? Like, what's the next fight that you're looking for? What's your next title run?
Baby. Bangkok. I'm fighting my first fight at Rajvidam.
Oh,
on the
nice.
16th next month.
Okay. Will that be streamed? But
I've broken the A-League, man.
Aware. Do you know if that's going to be streamed at all?
I don't know if it's going to be streamed, but I'm quite sure Tiger's going to film it.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it might be on TV here in Thailand,
Okay.
Channel 7 maybe.
If it's Channel 7, you can watch it.
Yeah, I'll send that information all to you when I find out about it.
Beautiful, and I'll pass it on.
But, yeah, Tiger will definitely film it, and, yeah, it's really exciting, man, because like I said, you know, I had to prove to my trainers, I had to prove to my camp that, you know, I was a safe bet, essentially.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you know, their names in the line, and Tiger actually hasn't sent very many people up to Bangkok. You know, they say there haven't been a lot of guys that they thought was worth taking the risk on, you know?
Yeah.
So, just to be considered for it, and, you know, now they're pushing for me to go to Bangkok, like, it's an awesome show of faith, and, like, I really appreciate it. So I'm really going to be trying not to embarrass either my camp or any of my trainers, you know, because it really is a big thing for them to be backing me, both, you know, both reputation-wise and financially. They're banking me to go to Bangkok and fight in in the A-League, man. Raj Padam, Lumpini, that's the premiership as far as Muay Thai is concerned.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, your old coach, Don's fighting for the EFC title. Do you think he's going to win?
I don't think there's a question about it. Do you?
No, honestly, I don't see him losing.
Yeah, that's it. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, they should literally just, you know, knock on the door, wake his ass up, and just give him the title. I mean, save the Muppet they're going to throw in there as meats. We all know what it's going to be. It's going to be throwing Buddha-Wurst to a pit bull. That's all it is.
Buddha-Wurst to a pit bull. Brilliant. What's the actual result? What's your prediction? KO, first round, or how?
See, this is the thing about Don. I think KO's always a very, very high possibility, you know, because he's an amazing fighter. But the thing about Don is as well, he can be quite sinister, and depending on his mood on the night, you might want to torture the guy. So it might be, you know, a submission move. You might want to play around with him for a little while, or you might just want to, you know, get out of there and get paid as soon as possible. Because, you know, as far as he's concerned, I'm sure as well, the belt he's already. He's just, you know, it's just a formality that he has to walk over.
Yeah.
So I think very high chance of a KO. But like I said, if he's in the mood, you know, to be cruel, you might just play around with the guy and, you know, work in submissions, just punish him, let him know, you know.
Yeah. Take us through a day in your life. Let's say leading up to a fight.
Leading up to a fight?
Yeah.
Okay, well, usually before a fight, we get 2 days off before our fight because the training's so hard, just get your body to recoup and stuff. So day of the fight, I wake up, I suppose kiss my wife, tell her I love her. She goes off to work, I'll laze around the house a little bit, maybe watch some soapies on TV, go get some breakfast, just laze around, maybe go see some friends. Mostly I stay inside though, try to stay out of the sun and that kind of thing. Just chill, eat loads of food, especially if I don't have to make weights. Just sit and eat and, you know, make sure I've got enough, you know, liquid in me, like, you know, get all my electrolytes in, that kind of stuff. And then just chill out and wait for the fight, man. Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
Also, out of interest, I mean, as I said, you're fighting regularly nowadays. Do you still get the nerves? Like, was it just for big fights, or, you know, how does that deal? How do you deal with it?
At first, yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, I used to get proper nerves, especially when I found out, you know, the first time I was going to be fighting a Thai guy, I was like, oh my god, I'm really killed. But now I think it's, because of, you know, I've been through a few battles, all the things that used to scare me, like, oh shit, what's it going to feel like when you got shin on shin, you know? That's not a problem now, like, my shin doesn't even hurt anymore, so I was like, okay, that's done. Then I was worried about, oh, what's it going to be like if I get, you know, elbowed, and what's it like to get cut and stuff? Well, I've done that now, so, you know, it's not a concern. It feels like a normal elbow, you know, you don't even know you're cut most times. So, yeah, and I think just the frequency of fights now, it literally is just like going to work. Sometimes you're quite bored, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, I'm going to fight today. It's like, oh shit, I'd rather just stay home and watch TV, you know what I mean? It really is like a job, so a lot of the fear disappears. Sometimes, like you said, yeah, if it's a big fight, like if I'm fighting for a title or something, you just get a bit anxious, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The longer I have to wait, the more anxious I become. You just want to get in the ring and just fight, you know what I mean? So I think that's the only time I really get nervous. That or if sometimes you get put in the ring with much larger opponents. Now, I don't mind sometimes so much the size difference, but if they're bigger and more experienced, that can be a little bit of and that's a pretty shit day in the office, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But mostly I think, yeah, like, you know, you really do just lose the nerves after a while. It just becomes a job, you know, it's nothing serious, you know. And then also, I suppose, you know, once you develop a certain level of skill or, you know, amount of proficiency, you're not so worried anymore. I mean, I've been through a few battles now, and you're like, well, you know, I did very well. Like I said, I don't come out of fights limping very often, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife actually wanted to call me Iron Man because I don't get hurt too much. But, so that's the thing, like, you know, it's just, yeah, a lot of that fear just goes away because you're like, well, you know, I can handle it, you know, so it's not too much of a problem.
Okay. Shout outs you want to give? Any thanks to sponsors or anyone?
Well, if you can give me some sponsors, that'd be cool. I haven't got any of those yet.
Okay.
Our sponsors would be awesome. Not really. I suppose a shout out to my family. Shout out to South Africa, Cape Town. I miss the hell out of you. And yeah, to anyone that I suppose, you know, reads this or hears this in South Africa, like, you know, if you've got that Muay Thai dream, you know, just don't give up on it. Keep pushing. You know, our level in South Africa is not as low as everyone thinks it is. So I think just keep having faith, keep training hard, keep fighting, you know, and then eventually, you know, you can find yourself in Thailand doing it for real.
Great.